Hey everybody, it's Eric from the Mature Minded Gamers. We're going to go over the new releases that are coming up here in the next month. It's been a pretty slow first quarter of 2020. Not many games have been released. We're going to go over some of the big AAAs that are still to come, and then some of the smaller ones that I think are going to be pretty exciting. To start us out is Ori and the Will of the Wisp. This is a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest that came out a couple years ago. This was originally scheduled to come out on February the 11th, but it got delayed. So just by a month though, so it's going to come out on March the 11th now. This is going to be available on both the Xbox and the PC, both on Steam and the Microsoft Store, and also going to be included in the Microsoft Gamers Pass. Next up is Doom Eternal, probably the most hyped game on the list so far this month. It was originally slated to be released on November 22nd of last year, but it got delayed 4 months to put on those final touches, I think. So it's slated to be released on March 20th of 2020. It's going to be released on the Xbox, the PlayStation, the PC, including on Steam and the Bethesda launcher. So the only platforms missing is the Switch, and we know that we've seen Doom 2016 on the Switch here recently, so I suspect that this will be ported over eventually. Alright, so I made a slight mistake already, because I said Doom Eternal was probably the most hyped game. Then I realized Animal Crossing was next. And even though I'm not the big fan of Animal Crossing that a lot of people are, I know it has a crazy following, and it's probably the most hyped. I bet it's more hyped than Doom. I may be wrong. Both are great games, and they're both releasing on the same day, which is kind of crazy. March 20th, we are going to finally get Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's going to be released solely on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, it's the newest full-fledged Animal Crossing that we've seen since New Leaf in 2012. This is going to take place on a desert island with a robust crafting system and standard variety of activities that you do in these type of games: fishing, gardening, charming NPCs, all that fun stuff. The nice thing about this game that we haven't seen in previous is it's going to have up to 8 players on an island that can play together, and 4 can be on one Nintendo Switch together, so a split screen, which is pretty cool and very unique for a Animal Crossing game. Next up, we have Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlords. This was my favorite sandbox RPG of the last decade. I had a bunch of hours into it, and I'm not the only one. Very, very well-received game that got a ton of mods and expansions, and this has been a sequel that's been in the works for a long time. They finally gave us a release date of March 2020, so not an exact date, but I do think we're going to actually see it here, and it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't come out in late March, like when we see the Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal as well. But who knows, maybe they'll surprise us and drop it early, which would be fantastic too. If you've never played Mountain Blade, you can get it super cheap, and I highly recommend it because this game is going to be amazing. Alright, next up. Alright, the next game we have is Half-Life Alyx. Whew. Man, who is not excited for this? Well, people who don't have VR, but the people who do have VR are super pumped like I am. I cannot wait. I know this has made the Valve Index sell out like crazy, and I've had a lot of friends pick up VR sets just for this game already. I'm excited. We're finally getting back into the Half-Life world. It's probably the most awaited VR game ever made. It's going to involve all the things that we love about Half-Life, and it's going to put it all into an amazing VR environment. I just can't wait. Those are all of the AAA titles that are coming up in the next month. Next, we're going to cover some smaller titles that I think are going to be really good games. Alright, first up on the smaller games, this was made by Donkey Crew. It's called Last Oasis. It's a survival MMO RPG. Kind of gives me a vibe of Conan Exiles, except on wheels. So you're going to be living in a dying world that's going to make you continuously roam around to get to areas that are inhabitable. And your mobile base is going to go with you, obviously. So you're going to have giant land ships as a base, basically traveling with you as you go. There's going to be very limited resources, so the clans, the other people on the server, you're going to be constantly fighting over these to survive and grow and all that stuff. I am super excited for this game. I think it's going to be a blast, and I really hope it pans out to be everything that we want. It's rumored to be released here in the first quarter of 2020, and I hope they stick to that. Alright, next up is Broomstick League. So this is Quidditch and Rocket League mixed together into a very fun and fast game that's quick to jump into. It reminds me, the whole gameplay and how it flows reminds me of Rocket League tremendously. And then obviously, you know, you have the Quidditch aspects of it. I've recently played a little bit of the beta, and I was able to stream it, so you can check that out on our channel. I really liked it. My daughters loved it. I think it's going to be a really fun game. I cannot wait to get my hands on it some more. It's scheduled to release here in the first quarter of 2020, and I think we're going to see it with all the closed betas and everything that they've been doing here recently. All right, next up we have Dead Age 2. I know the website says Dead Age 1. They don't have a website for Dead Age 2, which is a little bit confusing. But this is supposed to be out in the first quarter of 2020. Dead Age 1 is a fantastic game that is a roguelike role-playing survival game that's turn-based, inspired by Darkest Dungeon, Fallout 1 and 2. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, right? And with the high ratings and praise from Dead Age 1, I only think 2 is going to be even a better improvement over. So I'm really excited for this game. Can't wait for it to actually release. I hope it does come out here in the first quarter. All right, the last game we're going to cover is Dungeon Defenders Awakened. So I really love Dungeon Defenders, the very first game. It was a co-op tower defense game that me and my buddies spent a lot of time in. Dungeon Defenders 2 didn't really do it for me. There was too many microtransactions. It just didn't feel the same. It didn't flow as well. And then they went back to remake this one, and they basically have even said this is pretty much a remake of the original Dungeon Defenders with new features and, you know, kind of like a new story a little bit. So I'm really excited for this game. As a big fan of Dungeon Defenders 1, I'm glad to see that they're going back to their roots and they're going to basically, you know, make the game even better. This is scheduled to be out here in the first quarter of 2020. So I'm thinking we're going to see it before the end of March. Let's hope so. All right, everybody, that is my wrap for the month. To wrap up the first quarter of 2020, I'm hoping we're going to see every one of these games, and I think we're going to have some pretty big surprises from the smaller games, and I do think the AAA games are going to deliver. I mean, come on, Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, they're both going to be huge hits, so I'm excited. Make sure you do me a favor, hit that follow and like button, and have yourself a great day.